What's up guys, JayFerGaming here and welcome to my review of the 2014 Formula 1 Japanese Grand Prix. And yeah, first of all, there was obviously a big incident in the race, and I want to say get well soon to Jules Bianchi. And there was a big incident, and I'll go into that more in my review, and I'm driving as him in this just as a little dedication, I guess, but obviously everyone hopes he gets better. So yeah, this weekend was very interesting. It started off with Sebastian Vettel, a four-time world champion, announcing that he's leaving Red Bull at the end of the season, and it looks like he's joining Ferrari, which means that Fernando Alonso will, I think he's pretty certain to leave now, because Raikkonen's in for 2015, unless there's a last-minute change. But so that suggested Alonso's going to McLaren, because I can't see him taking a one-year sabbatical like they're suggesting, because he's the best driver in my opinion, and he has to have a drive. So in my opinion, he's a cert for McLaren, which means Magnussen or Button are going to get dropped. And I reckon that Button is going to be left without a drive, even though he's still a class driver in my opinion, and he proved it this morning in the race. So it was Rosberg that got the pole position out of the battle of the Mercedes, as he got it by 2/10 from his teammate, with the Williams in third and fourth, as expected, as there are quite a few straights around this track. And Alonso in fifth, his traditional position, as the stat of him qualifying fifth 36 times in his career kept being brought up. So on race day, it was chucking it down. Typical Japanese weather, you just can't predict it. But yeah, apparently there was going to be a typhoon or something, but the organisers chose to keep the race about 2.5 hours before sunset, which realistically is a bit of a stupid idea, because obviously there's the rule of a race can last for 4 hours, obviously in all racing conditions, but that doesn't even give a 4-hour window, so I don't know what's going on there. So from the start, it was a safety car start. So there was one completed lap. Ericsson span behind the safety car, which is just typical of him. As you can tell, I'm probably not the biggest fan of his. But yeah, the race was red flagged after one lap, so there was a bit of a delay, but it was restarted, and from the restart, it was Rosberg that took the lead from Hamilton, and they built up a huge lead over the rest of the field. It wasn't because of their pace, it was because the two Williams were so slow. I know they don't perform well in the wet conditions, but still, they were nowhere. And I think if the Red Bulls had have started third and fourth, maybe they could have given Mercedes a bit of a battle, which would have been very interesting to see. So Vettel and Ricciardo put some fantastic moves overtaking the two Williams. I was really impressed. And I missed out Alonso. Alonso retired from, was it the restart? Yeah, it was the restart under the safety car after the red flag. His car just kind of switched off like Button did in Singapore. So that was disappointing from him, and it's just confirming that I think he's going to leave Ferrari. Well, he is going to, isn't he? But yeah, in the race, Button made one of his strategic decisions, as I smash into Gutierrez there. Yeah, Button pitted very early for intermediates compared to the other drivers, and he was the only one, so he had clean air, clean track, and had a better pace than some of the cars ahead. I think mainly because the Williams were holding most of the field up, but yeah, he got himself up into third place in that strategy, which was fantastic, and that confirms that I think Button should be in F1 next season. He's still a class driver, and in the right car, I reckon he could be battling for the championship. That's just my personal opinion, but shoot me down. So, as the Red Bulls were battling with the Williams, it was great racing. They put some great moves on them, and Vettel got himself up to third position. Oh no, up to fourth as Button got him into third. Ricciardo was in fifth, and the two Mercedes were battling. And Hamilton, if Hamilton had started first, he would have been miles ahead of Rosberg. He had so much more pace. Overall, he could have been 2 seconds a lap faster, I think, because Rosberg, I don't think he's the best driver in wet conditions. And Hamilton's really good around the Suzuka track. And on about lap, I don't know, 18, 19, as Rosberg was struggling on his tyres, Hamilton got past. With the commentators were saying an amazing move. It was DRS down the start-finish straight. It wasn't that good. And he sweeped kind of around the outside of Rosberg to take the lead and then just flew away. As Rosberg was on a one lap older tyres, but he was really struggling. And I think it confirms that Hamilton has the edge over Rosberg in the wet. So it was Liner Stern at the front, and I think I'll get on to the serious incident here. The race finished on about, I think it was lap 45, 46. Sutil after the S's in the first sector at the Dunlop curve, I think it was called. Sutil had an accident. He aquaplaned off the track as it started to rain quite heavily. His accident wasn't that big, and his car was getting recovered by, I think it's a tractor, the recovery vehicle, something like that. And it wasn't seen on the TV footage. I don't think there's been any footage released of it, which is kind of understandable. But Bianchi also aquaplaned, and based on, I think, Sutil's comments and word of mouth from someone else, he aquaplaned, I think, sideways into the back of the recovery vehicle. And that's what red flagged the race. It's hard to speculate about what happened. I don't want to make things up. But he smashed into the recovery vehicle and, by the sounds of it, had a very serious head injury. So that's like the third driver in recent years with head injuries. Obviously, Schumacher's wasn't related to driving, but Felipe Massa had one in 2009. And luckily for us and him, he recovered from that. But yeah, the race was stopped. Hamilton won the race, which he would have done anyway, because he had the edge over Rosberg this weekend, even though Rosberg had the pole position. So just looking at the results, Vettel, because the classification went back, I think, to the last racing lap. So Vettel actually pitted just before the red flag, and he was down to 5th. But Vettel classified 3rd, as it's been announced he's going to Ferrari. So he put in a good drive. Him and Ricciardo were really impressive passing the two Williams. I really enjoyed that battle. Button was unlucky to finish 5th. I think he made an extra pit stop, which meant he dropped behind the Red Bulls. So he could have been right up there with them if the race went all the way. But a solid performance to prove why he possibly could be in F1 next season. The two Williams, I think, yeah, they did a good job to finish 6th and 7th, considering that their car doesn't perform very well in the wet. So some solid points for them. And Bottas got the better of Massa again, so he's really outshining his teammate. Hülkenberg, Vern Perez rounded out the points as Force India gets some more solid points with the battle with McLaren, which is going to be very interesting indeed. Hülkenberg, yeah, he retired, I think, the lap that Sutil crashed at the end of the pit lane. Don't know what was going on there, but obviously got some points. Vern, a couple of points once again. I know Kvyat's shown promise, but I think Vern's done a really good job this season. He's got 21 points compared to Kvyat's 8, and if he doesn't get a drive next season, he will be very unlucky. Because I think, yeah, he could stay with Toro Rosso, thinking about it, unless Red Bull decide to go for someone like, I don't know, Felix da Costa, Carlos Sainz Jr., possibly. Vern, I don't know if they'll give him a chance. Maybe he's definitely out, which is a shame. Perez got the final point. Kvyat finished 11th. Didn't really see him too much this weekend, as he's announced for Red Bull. That's what I forgot. Kvyat to Red Bull. So that's very interesting. A very inexperienced team there with Ricciardo and Kvyat. Raikkonen 12th. Just wasn't happening for him. He had a really slow pit stop, which lost him a couple of positions. It probably lost him 8th, 9th position at best. So that's the end of Ferrari's, I think, was it 83 race streak of points finishes. So that's over, and just compiled a miserable weekend for Ferrari. 13th was Gutierrez. He was running in the points for quite a bit of the race, and I thought this could have been Sauber's best opportunity, but it looks like they're not going to score any points, which is a real shame. It looks like they really could go out of business at the end of the season, which will not be good, as their They've been in Formula 1 for quite a while now, 20 odd years I'd say, so that'd be a shame. Magnussen apparently had a puncture, so he had to make an extra pit stop, but oh, his move at the first corner, unlapping himself around the outside with Ricciardo, was fantastic. Wheel-to-wheel racing, brilliant. The two Lotuses, it was good to see Grosjean make some overtakes, because in my opinion he deserves to be in a car further up the grid, and yeah, it was good to see him make some moves. Maldonado didn't crash, which was something in itself. Ericsson was the best of the rest, so he recovered from his spin beyond the safety car, and then Chilton, Kobayashi. Yeah, Bianchi 20th, Sutil 21st, and yeah, once again, just echoing what I said before. Hope Bianchi recovers. The news at the moment is that he's not in a stable condition. He's breathing, which is, I think, the main thing, obviously. But yeah, his injuries are really serious, and I hope that he gets better. It must be hard for the Marussia team after their incident with Maria Di Vallota, the reserve driver, a couple of years ago. Good luck to Bianchi, good luck to the team, and I hope everything's okay. So that's been my review of the Japanese Grand Prix. The next race is next weekend in Sochi in Russia, so hopefully Bianchi's all better, and I'll catch you in the next video. Good night.